Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Para una mejor experiencia, les solicitamos por favor que mantengan sus micrófonos muteados. Todo el material que presentaremos puede ser utilizado para difusión y promoción. Muchas gracias y que disfruten del evento.
Muy buenas tardes, estamos realmente muy contentos, felices, orgullosos y súper entusiasmados de poder compartir con ustedes la gran noticia de que finalmente vamos a poder ver la serie más exitosa de History en Estados Unidos, Oak Island, o como la conocemos en América Latina, El Tesoro de la Isla, a partir del 5, 6 y 7 de septiembre en América Latina. Este esperado estreno viene con la temporada 10, probablemente la temporada más esperada de esta serie, en donde los hermanos Rick y Mary Laguina van a poder adentrarse a esta isla ubicada en Canadá, llamada la Isla del Roble o Oak Island, en donde van a seguir buscando este tesoro milenario, este tesoro que históricamente tiene más de 200 años y que todos, sobre todo ellos, están muy interesados en encontrar y compartir con todos y cada uno de nosotros. Este éxito de la televisión mundial viene de la mano de Prometheus Entertainment, la productora de otro éxito muy cerca de nuestros corazones, que es Alienígenas Ancestrales. Y sin más, vamos a compartir con ustedes el demo de esta nueva y excitante temporada.
Hace 200 años, unos niños encuentran algo interesante en Oak Island, en las costas de Nueva Escocia. Ellos cavaron y encontraron unas piedras colocadas de cierta manera. Encuentran unos tablones y cosas que tenían que ser hechas por el hombre. Así que estaban seguros de que habían encontrado algo bueno. Era el final de la era de los piratas, ¿no? Así que todo el mundo piensa que es un tesoro oculto. Mientras más bajo cavan, más tablas y palos se encuentran, que parecieran estar tapando algo. Ellos se rinden a los 6 metros porque estaban cavando con las manos, y luego viene una sucesión de personas que regresa para continuar cavando. Ingenieros de minas, gente de negocios. El presidente Franklin Roosevelt estuvo buscando. John Wayne también participó. Todo el mundo quería llegar al fondo de este llamado pozo sin fondo. Se me ocurre que el común denominador en Oak Island es la obsesión.
¿Por qué la gente piensa que hay un tesoro o algo de gran valor enterrado muy por debajo de la superficie de Oak Island? A comienzos del siglo XIX, poco después del descubrimiento de una losa grande de piedra en el pozo sin fondo, a una profundidad de 27 metros, las extrañas inscripciones de la losa fueron traducidas utilizando un simple código de descifrado y decían: a 12 metros se encuentran enterradas 2 millones de libras. Pero algunos piensan que la inscripción es más compleja y daba instrucciones secretas para cortar el agua que iba hacia los túneles de trampa. Aunque la piedra desapareció misteriosamente en 1919 y no se han encontrado fotos o calcos de ella, era toda la evidencia que los buscadores de tesoro necesitaban para seguir excavando, cerca de 200 años después.
Los hermanos Laguina llegaron en el año 2006 a esta isla de Roble o Oak Island a buscar este tesoro milenario de más de 200 años. Pero esta serie tiene 10 temporadas y 179 episodios y es sin lugar a dudas la serie más exitosa de todos los tiempos en History Estados Unidos. Por eso que quiero presentarles hoy y por primera vez para toda América Latina y Brasil a los hermanos Rick y Mary Laguina con un video, por favor.
Cuando yo tenía 11 años, leí la historia de Oak Island y quedé enganchado. Y la llevé a casa y se la leí a mi
Sí,
hermano.
él me la mostró y claro, tenía todas las cosas que le gustan a la gente. Tesoros, túneles secretos.
Aventura.
Yo creo que mientras perforemos en cualquier lugar de esta zona de acá estaremos bien. He estado en el área energética durante 35 años. Empecemos. Yo formé una compañía y perforé muchos pozos de petróleo y gas. Vamos a adaptar algunas de esas técnicas para que nos ayuden. Yo estoy motivado por la curiosidad, estoy motivado por la búsqueda, estoy motivado por el hecho de hacer algo con mi hermano que él siempre soñó hacer.
Esto se trata de la familia, se trata de cariño. Y yo quiero a mi hermano. Es decir, yo no quisiera hacer esto con nadie más que él,
Tenemos millones de dólares invertidos en esto.
que recuperaremos en algún momento.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Mary.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
How can you We are doing great, but on behalf of Latin American Brazil, we are dying to know what is the secret for both of you behind this hit series with 10 seasons and 179 episodes and counting.
Number one, you're making us feel old.
I think the secret, the reason people like this show is because it is absolutely real. We are really trying to uncover a really serious mystery of potentially worldwide importance. We are all in, and it is all real, and I think people sense that and like to follow it.
I agree. I mean, it's a wonderful story. It captivates people of all ages. You have a treasure component, a historical component, a mystery, engineering difficulties, problems, sacrifice by many people over 2.25 centuries, longer than 2.25 centuries. It encapsulates everything that makes us human: success, failure, desire, obsession, commitment. It encompasses the human experience.
Yeah, and everybody loves a treasure hunt. I mean, everybody does.
But I think you discover a very unique formula when you not only share your emotional and human journey as brothers, but also you share with you the happiness, the joy when you find something, and the total frustration when you don't find anything at all. And I mean, and that's the most common denominator in the amount of episodes that you have. But what is amazing is that you have more than 50 years of investigation, 40,000 kilometers that you already walk around, and you have more than 40 excavations, and 22 are only in the money pit. So we want to know what on earth or what the hell is the money pit and why you are so focused on that specific area.
Well, that's where it all started. 230 years ago now, they found something very complex and very mysterious in the area of the money pit. And the story is way too complicated to explain here, but people have been looking consistently for over 230 years. And it is very complicated and very complex. The theory behind it all is that why would anybody go to such effort unless they were hiding something of immense value? And that's the source of all of it.
So before we go any further or any deeper, we are going to call the executive producer of this hit series. His name is Joe Lessard, and I want to welcome him in this particular press event.
Hey guys, hey Cesar. Thanks for having me.
Can we have everybody in one screen, please, so we can talk to each other?
Nice.
Perfect.
Hey guys.
Now,
Joe,
we can do this like another day on television studio. Listen, I know Mari and Rick are at this particular point in their favorite place on earth, in Canada, in Oak Island. Joe is in some place in the US, today at least. And we want to know, Joe, from you, what do you think is the secret recipe or the secret reason behind the huge success of this unique series?
Well, I think that the treasure component opens the gateway to the public's interest. But I think that the soul of this show and the success of this show is really built around the dream that these two young gentlemen had when they were much younger. And dreamed about their entire lives until they found themselves in a place where they could actually take it on together with partners and have faithfully tried to do their earnest best to figure out not only if there's treasure there and what this treasure is and to try to get it, but also tell the story. And the more they work, the more they unravel that the mystery behind whatever is on Oak Island could rewrite North American history as we know it. And I think that the public got in early, lured by treasure, but has seen, just like Rick and Marty, that there is truly a great story here to follow and uncover. And it's a great adventure for everyone. We hear it all the time, that families literally get together to watch this thing live. And so it's a tremendous feather in our cap to be able to produce this show, following their journey and doing as best we can to tell it the way it happens.
Well, and going through that route, now the three of you are already there. So many people are asking, what do you actually were able to find? Is this actually a treasure hunt or is it a personal obsession?
No, it's a legitimate treasure hunt. There's no doubt about it. But, you have to context the treasure hunt with an information hunt, which is what Joe just alluded to, that there is a wonderful story here. I can say for certain that, we all, as a humanity, we love to read, we love new information. And we read the Reader's Digest article that we have here in the War Room, and it's but 5-6 pages, but there was no ending. And we would like to help write that ending. It's a fabulous story. Sure, there's a treasure component, but we hear all the time from people, you ask, what do you love about the show? And it's, I would say that the story takes paramount importance, because who doesn't want an answer to a mystery? And the treasure component only tells one part of that story. So I think that people just hunger for answers for whatever mystery is presented to them. And this certainly is a big mystery.
For sure. Now, what was the most surprising thing you have ever find at the Treasure Island?
I would say we probably would have a different answer, but what really was,
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. What was extremely amazing to me was a series of finds that were much more ancient than we thought possible. That's what really is making this extremely interesting. We found, I hesitate to say it, but we have found Roman coins here. Roman coins in Nova Scotia. We found wood that dates back to the 12th century and before. We found things that are ancient here. I really never expected that, and we're still trying to figure it out. That would be my answer.
Yeah, my answer would be the same as my brother's, that, there were unexpected finds here that date back to a time that is unacceptable to a lot of archaeologists and historians. It predates, it basically says pre-Columbian visitation to the New World not only happened, it happened here on this island. And that's quite unique. But the singular moment for me really was when Gary Drayton found that cross in Smith's Cove, because when we pulled it out of the ground, my mind went back to Dome Prison, where the Templars were imprisoned. And the carvings there, according to the local guide, they carved them with their teeth. It was so important to leave a message. And I remembered that cross carved into that wall, and here we held it in our hands. It was like, wow, what really happened here? And that's what we pursue. What really happened here? Who, what, when, where, why, and how? It's beguiling, and it's, on some level, Marty would tell me all the time that I am obsessed. Well, if I am, he is too. So it's important to us to share this story.
And we live every second of that story with you and through you guys. And we cannot be more excited that we're going to be able to share this new 10th season with everybody in Latin America and Brazil with you. And the best way to go through that unique perspective of history, entertainment, human life, and why not personal obsession, to say the least. Now, Joe, everybody knows that you are behind the success of two series that some people believe that have nothing in common, but other people believe that have too much in common. Ancient Aliens and Oak Island. Can you describe it in a few words? What do you think these two series are a hit and have a special place on our hearts?
Yeah, it's funny. Kevin Burns, who was the founder of Prometheus Entertainment, our company, and my great mentor and friend, the late Kevin Burns, who pretty much was the guy that got this series created. Rick and Marty Lagina did not pitch themselves as television personalities. We begged them and prodded them until they finally acquiesced and let us follow them with cameras. The connection, and we marvel about it now, that ancient aliens going back to ancient Egypt and all the mystical things that flow through the world with all these otherworldly connections and mysteries. There always seems to be some kind of tie to religious relics, Freemasonry, strange thing, indigenous lore. Oak Island's got it all. It's like the story started with ancient aliens. It's being told front and center by the Curse of Oak Island, and it's even heading its way out to the American desert to Skinwalker Ranch. We feel like we're telling the same story in different chapters with these three series, and it's almost serendipitous, if not mystical in and of itself.
Serendipity, it is in more ways than one. So now we're going to the question of Chile, El Mercurio. We're going to start with our Q&A. And El Mercurio Chile is asking the following question for Joe. What do you think is the reason this successful show has 10 seasons and is going for more?
Because every year, just when you think you have the Oak Island mystery figured out, something else pops up that completely blows the door wide open for possibilities. The guys were talking earlier about the cross, the lead cross, and what it represented. When they got involved in this hunt, I think the prevailing theory was that it was 16th or 17th or maybe 18th century pirates that buried treasure on Oak Island. But there were theories out there about pre-Columbian visits to the New World, that the Knights Templar could be involved, or the Rosicrucians, or someone even before that, maybe the Vikings. All those theories were out there. And every season, one way or another, completely organically, these guys find a clue that could corroborate any of those theories. And it just keeps building and building and building. The more they dig, the more they find. And that goes for the ground and it goes for research. And they're trying to make the connections between the two.
Now for Rick and Marty, coming from El Mercurio Chile, is the following question. Through these 10 seasons, what things or theories of your own have changed or evolved throughout the series?
I'll answer that briefly, and then I bet Rick can say more. One of my theories was that nothing happened here. That was one of my theories when I came on this island, that it was just sort of collective madness, mass hysteria, some sort of misplaced analysis. I have discarded that theory. Something happened here. Something rather complicated, something probably really important, something very mysterious and unknown happened here. So I have discarded the nothing theory, but there are probably 10 others that are still on the table.
For me, I think, you have to keep an open mind all the time about life in general. And so when I come here, I was not predisposed to any theory. And I think I looked at it as following this story in Reader's Digest, and that, we would, as we pursued answers, the answers would be forthcoming, and you would constantly have to evaluate the wisdom of following one theory or another. And so my experience here has been constantly evolving, and even as I sit here before you, I don't have a particular theory. I think the data, the information hunt will lead us there eventually.
So now going to that subject, Publimetro Chile have the following question. Have you ever thought about giving up the search? And what motivates you to keep searching and searching?
Again, my answer, absolutely, I've thought about giving up. And in fact, I would say I would modify what Joe said. Joe said just about the time you have it figured out, something happens that blows it wide open. I would say no, just about the time you're ready to throw in the towel, something happens that keeps you going. And the things that have happened to keep us going have been dramatic, as he said, exceptional finds. So absolutely, I think about giving up. Now, let's hear what Big Brother has to say.
I've never thought about giving up. But I will go back to, again, something that Joe said, that we were pulled and prodded to engage in this hunt. And it's true. But for one thing, I have always thought that this was a wonderful, magical story wrapped in mystery and the fog of time. And I wanted to share it. And Marty can speak to this.
Yeah.
My nieces and nephews, I told them this story over and over and over again till their eyes would glaze over. And when Kevin and Joe came and said, hey, we can tell this story to a worldwide audience, which they indeed have, I thought that was a pretty good thing. But in terms of, wanting to give up, no, I'm not wired like that.
Well, I haven't.
Oh, he's not wired like that either. He just needs a little bit of a push.
I get discouraged. It's a tough hunt.
But there's no give up in him. So we're in this together, thick or thin.
And that's the way we like it. So now we're going with more questions. Mariana, can you help me out? Mariana, vamos.
Yes, from Mexico, Suchay Baños from El Universal newspaper.
Universal, te escuchamos.
Sí. Perdón. Pues yo quisiera comentarles a ellos si se han fijado un límite de tiempo o hasta dónde llegar, porque pues los recursos pueden llegar a mermarse o incluso físicamente. ¿Hasta qué momento van a decir hasta aquí llegamos?
Okay, the question from Universal Mexico will be the following. The resources are not unlimited, even though your imagination could be. So how far you're planning to go in the search and the research of this famous treasure? How long do you think you can keep up?
Well, there is a question. Hey, watching your films as we answer these questions, I realize we've aged in the last 10 years. I see younger folks on this TV here. But look, we've got so much invested now, and it looks like it's very real. So I don't see us quitting unless we can't advance the ball anymore. If we can't do anything, if we've run out of options, then I see us giving up. But as long as we are making progress, Big Brother here isn't going to let me quit anyway. So I don't see quitting in the future.
So are you trying to say that you're getting closer?
Sure.
Well, that's your
I think we are. Yes.
Certainly the box is getting smaller.
I don't know where to see it. So let's go with the questions, Mariana.
Yes, Marcos Almeida from Isla do Metal from Brazil.
Hi, March. Hi, Lake. Hi, Joyless.
Hi.
I am Marcos from that means in English, the Isla of Metal. We work with music and TV shows and movies. And my question, it's about your program, of course, but more general. I would like to say, I don't know if you have any idea of how pedagogical the point of view are your program, how many people be interested by history after to watch and see your movies. Do you have any idea? Do you already think in that way? Because you show how could a history guy have a lot of adrenaline, a lot of things to do, and be a history guy. Do you already think how many people are involved with history later to watch the Treasure for Oak Island like we have seen in Brazil?
He would like to know also, like everybody else, how do you feel every time that you have an episode? How many people around the world is affected by your passion, your commitment, and your hunting and your research, your never-ending give up for history?
Actually, that is the thing for my part, that I am most proud of about this show. We have had people many, many, many times say, this is the show we can watch with our kids. We can watch it together, and they get interested in history because of it. Otherwise, they had no interest whatsoever. Now they're interested in history. They're reading. They're trying to find out things. They're trying to learn. The amazing thing about Oak Island is how many events in history could possibly be tied to what we're looking at here. And involving people in a treasure hunt that allows them to get interested in history is probably the thing we're both most proud of.
There's no question about that. This island has given us inspiration and has inspired other people, not only to revisit and come to a further enriched history or enriched understanding of history, but it has inspired people to change their lives literally, and we have benefited from that, because one of the reasons, an earlier question was asked about, would we choose to give up? Sure, there's tough times, but then we meet people who say, this show has inspired me, or we watch it as a family, or we've learned so much. It's inspirational to us as well, and so on the tough days, we think of them.
Sure enough. Let's go, Mariana. One more question.
Yes, Patricia Daniele from Weekend Magazine, Argentina.
Let's go to Argentina.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Years and years of searching. Did you learn new tricks to apply in a future searching? And if you find the treasure, you finish the series, you finish your work in the island?
Great question.
There's actually some very good questions there. I think if we find this treasure and it is impactful as we think it could be, then there's going to be a whole nother series of issues as to who might claim it, why it's here, what we do with it, what they allowed us to keep, because finding treasure doesn't necessarily mean you get to keep treasure depending on what it is. So I don't think it would be over then. No, we might kind of be out of the picture, perhaps. It might be.
The story of Oak Island will only just begun.
Juan Pablo?
We froze for a minute.
No, we're okay. Keep going.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So, next question. What else, Rick? Keep going.
We usually begun.
When the treasure's found, whether it be by us or by someone who comes after us, that's when the real story only begins to be told. I mean, there are the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, the how. That's the most fascinating thing of all. I have said many times, treasures are meant to be spent, but stories are meant to be shared. And this is a wonderful story, and I fully intend to share that, or hopefully with the world.
We love that. Indeed, stories meant to be shared. Now let's go to the next question, Mariana.
Yes, from Mexico again, El Sol newspaper, Belén Eligio.
Thank you. Hello, guys. So nice talking to you. Well, first of all, congratulations for the 10th season of the show. I would like to ask you, because, well, of course, the people, we've been really aware of what happens with the island, but what do you think about the young people that are more into social media and everything? Do you think that this new generation are still interested in the treasure hunts and kind of getting to know all the mysteries behind the island?
I would say that's something we're proud of, to the extent we can divert people from young people from being so focused on social media and working with their thumbs on the telephone, and going back to actually real knowledge and finding out real things and doing real research. We're proud that we might have some role in doing that. So, and I think based on the feedback we get from parents, I think we are.
Mm-hmm. I think that using one's imagination is really the key. We grew up, along with our sisters, we used our imagination to entertain ourselves, to learn, to think about the possibilities of what life presents. And we would like this mystery, we're solving this mystery and the treasure hunt aspect, that we want people to imagine for themselves not only the possibilities of this island, but the possibilities for their lives. And that's really our hope, is that you take whatever lesson to be learned from this show, this hunt, and incorporate some aspect of it into your life and make it exciting as a treasure hunt. Find your own treasure in life. Go for it.
It's amazing also how your team is evolving and bringing on new people, young people who are into scientific endeavors, and literally their first jobs are helping you guys decipher clues on Oak Island, and they're making an incredible impact in their 20s. So I think it's a testament to how technology grows along with the hunt as the years go on, and your fellowship's growing. It's a great proving ground for new technology and applied incredibly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have a question from Brazil. That would be, yo, which one is the most surprising event or moment of this particular season?
Season 10 or which season?
10. Season 10.
Well,
Joe, what are we allowed to say?
Pardon?
What are we allowed to say, Mr. Producer?
Whatever you want to.
Well, we're currently filming season 11, so we won't be talking about that.
Oh, 10. You meant 10. Okay.
Yes. For 10, I would say it's the continued historical research that the team has spearheaded, especially under Rick's leadership, and reaching out to people across the globe, going to the far reaches of Italy this last season, and literally beholding similar structures and absolutely identical carvings associated with potential religious treasures that are missing to history, carvings that have been found on Oak Island, as well as their own scientific endeavors to try to look for precious metals underground and actually finding trace evidence that has the experts suggesting it's not natural sources, so it could be treasure. So I think it's where history meets this search. It continues to come closer and closer to help these guys not only zero in on where the valuables are, but why they are there and who brought them.
However, since the question is coming from Brazil, I want to be specific, and I love the series. Of course, I'm another fan of history and also Oak Island. So I know that in the third episode of season 10 is one episode dedicated to the top 10 Portuguese connections. Rick, Mari, Joe, whoever wants to offer any kind of answer. How important was that finding through the hands of Matt Blake and you guys? The Portuguese connections.
Which finding are we talking about?
We're talking about the third episode of season 10. I'm sorry to be so specific. It's called the top 10 Portuguese connections. Here says Mari Blake.
So that would have been the special.
Yes.
Oh, the Portuguese one. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Rick, probably the Stone Road, right, guys? Talk about the Stone Road, Rick.
Yeah, I mean, the Stone Road was impactful. We were setting our feet on a structure that had thousands of years ago. And, we believe that a similar construct, not the same, but a similar construct was on the island. But in terms of impact for me, it wasn't a discovery. But the key to solving any mystery is that human beings are involved with is to ask the question, why? And when we were under the Blood Gate in Tomar, and Zhao told us about what happened there, that the Knights Templar would ride out under that blood gate to defend their principles, to defend their beliefs. It was inspirational to me. I was quite in awe of that, because I thought, as they looked up and saw that carving, they knew there in that moment that their life might be forfeit, and yet they rode out anyway. And to me, that was incredibly inspirational. And I hope that inspires me in my life, that never give up. You choose a path and do everything you can to meet that measure, because they certainly did. And I just found that incredible.
The Portuguese thing for me was that I didn't think it was possible that it could be connected so much as it is. I mean, again, it was a learning experience. The Knights Templar did go to Portugal, and then we had a stone shot that fit identically into a Portuguese gun. And so all of a sudden we had to adjust our thinking to say, wait a minute, we were thinking French or English, and maybe it was Portuguese who were here. And so it just all fits in with this broadening of the possible connections with historical facts.
Now we have a question from Colombia, El Tiempo, probably one of the most important newspapers in Colombia. The question will be, how do you get away with murder in every episode, and both of you are able to combine, alchemize the stories behind the treasure hunt with your own personal adventures, emotions, and intentions? How you're able to do that?
I think that's easy. We are who we are. We didn't. Joel said we didn't want to be on television. Do you want to be on television?
No.
No, we didn't. But we were talked into it by these producer people, and but it is a good story. They talked us into it because we wanted to do it in the end to share, like Rick says. But I don't think it's difficult. We just are who we are. We get emotional. Rick gets emotional. I get cynical. We just are who we are. That's all. It's easy.
You don't change who you are. You bring who you are to every endeavor that you choose to undertake in life. And I would, as Marty said, we see ourselves age on the screen here in front of us, but our beliefs, the core of who we are, hasn't changed. And my hope is that everyone does the same thing. Be true to yourself, but become invested in something, in some aspect of your life. Really try, do everything you can to make happen your personal agenda, and that's what we've tried to do here.
And where is your personal touch or unique perspective, Joe, in every episode of this series?
My personal touch? Well, first and foremost, every now and then I get to make a cameo, because the first season we filmed a recreation of the Money Pit discovery, and I actually played Daniel McGinnis. So other than doing my best to produce in post-production and sometimes in the field what these guys are doing, every now and then I get to show up.
Yeah, you're the only actor.
But it's no secret that you have tons and tons of footage, hours and hours of research. How you're able to, don't be that humble, how you're able to put together a condensed version that we can share and we can treasure of every episode.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work, but it's so much fun. It doesn't really feel like work when you're having fun, and this show has basically been a dream come true for me. It's been my quest, and we have a lot of great people in the field shooting this stuff. We talk every day. We review everything that's been shot. We take it back to Los Angeles. We watch every frame. We piece it together with those people. We have the best editors in the world. We work on the voiceover that goes with it. We have got an incredible voiceover artist that voices the words that help carry the audience through what they're doing. And we're the total package, I guess.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
Well, I was just going to do a shout out for them. They do a very good job. I mean, making us look good is sometimes difficult, and so we've been very. No, I mean it. It is. We've been very happy with what they've done. They do a very professional job, and they're telling a complicated story nicely.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
talking about
It's
family
definitely
affairs.
We're the fellowship together.
And talking about family affairs, how do you feel that Alex is also part of this series?
Is that for me?
Yes, Maddie, it's for you.
Yeah, Al, it was fantastic having your son working with you. I mean, it's great. I never anticipated that he would have the interest, but he does. And working together with your son, we all know, anybody who's a father knows that father-son relationships can be difficult, but we get along well with it, and it gives the place a thing to talk about. So it's great having Alex here. Just great.
So finally, Rick and Maddie, give us, each one of you, one reason, or at least one reason, why everyone in Latin America and Brazil should be watching the new season 10 of Oak Island in History Channel.
It's a good one.
That's a very good question. I think it really rounds back to not what we think they should do, but what they think they should do. If you have a love of history, a love of trying to uncover forgotten history, then you should watch. If you are fascinated with the possibilities of what a treasure hunt might exemplify, then watch. If you find looking at a place as far away as Nova Scotia, where a tiny treasure story about a tiny island in the North Atlantic has existed for 2.25 centuries, then watch. It's for everyone to decide their own metric. I personally have found this story incredibly fascinating for all kinds of reasons. And it's for each and every viewer to decide for themselves why they choose to watch. But I would encourage everyone to give it a shot, because you will learn a lot. And I think you may find that you will learn something that may steer you on a different path in life, literally. So I would encourage people to watch for those reasons and more.
What about you, Maddie?
It's fun and it's interesting. And hey, you get, because we haven't figured it out yet, you can get to have your own theory as you watch. There. And that's why you should watch.
And if you do, call.
Yes.
Perfect. What about you, Joe? We need to hear about you and from you. Why people need to watch this hit series? Yes.
Because they're getting closer and closer. Like Rick said, they're not going to give up until they finish this thing, God willing. And every year, whatever you thought was going to happen, surprises emerge, and it's pointing to something spectacular. So stay with the hunt. I think there's going to be a great reward for everyone in the end.
Perfect. We are going to Mexico to one more question. And after the question, we have a very nice surprise for all of us. So Mariana, let's do quickly the last question from Mexico.
Yes, from Aline Fragoso from Crónica Newspaper, Mexico.
Ali?
Oh, hello, chicos.
Hi.
Hi. How do you feel to know this story on Latin America and expand your this program on Mexico especially?
¿Quieres decirlo?
Because here...
¿Quieres decirlo en español? ¿Yo te ayudo? Dilo en español.
Sí, muchas gracias. Sorry.
Por favor.
Sí, me gustaría saber cuál es el interés o cómo se sienten de dar a conocer esta historia de la isla de Auckland aquí en Latinoamérica, y especialmente en México, que tenemos muchas historias por descubrir, ¿no? Mucho de estas cuestiones ancestrales.
The question is coming from
Gracias.
Mexico, from Crónicas newspaper, and she would like to know, how do you feel to be able to bring your story and unique storytelling to Latin America and especially to Mexico, who is very famous for all these millenarian stories of treasures and hunting?
We're proud and humble to do that. These are our neighbors. We want to. I mean, the reason that Rick was talked into doing this whole thing was because he wanted to share this story with the world, and Mexico is our neighbor. So we're proud and I'd say humbled to do it. And yes, Mexico has its storied history of its own, all kinds of treasure stories. So maybe there are some connections. We'll see.
Yeah, there's even theories that the treasure on Oak Island may have once been in Mexico. So
that's correct.
We'll have to keep digging and looking.
Can you repeat that, please?
I'd say there's even a theory out there involving missing Aztec treasure that could be on Oak Island. So perhaps there's connections there in more ways than one. But Marty's right. We're absolutely happy to welcome our neighbors from Latin America to the quest and have them enjoy it just as everyone else around the world seems to. We'd love to see what the feedback is and how they enjoy the venture.
We love that for sure.
We are one world community, and this story encompasses much of the past, and we welcome our neighbors to the south to enjoy and to be fascinated by this incredible mystery.
Which one should be your legacy? Mari and Rick, which one will be your legacy? How you would like to be remembered and how you want people to remember this unique series and this unique storytelling?
No, I haven't thought about that one.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough. I guess that we did it right is all. I mean, win, lose, or draw, that we did it right, that we tried with our best efforts, that we were honest. Those sorts of things. I mean, we can't necessarily succeed, but we can do a good job, and we can bring this story and maybe a renewed interest in history to whoever wants to watch. Just that we did a good job, and that in the end, we tried. We did our best.
Yeah. You set the bar. Each of us sets the bar in terms of, our goals in life. And, I've always said, you never walk under the bar willingly. You always try to strive to get over the bar. And if we can hold to that and do our very best here to try to share this story with the world, I'd be exceedingly happy and grateful.
Having a monster treasure to spend would be nice too.
In more ways than one. Now, Joe,
yeah.
How far from a history fantasy fan it is to have a crossover episode of Ancient Aliens and Oak Island?
How fun would it be to do that?
Yes. How far away it is from reality?
Well, it happens to be the case, Caesar, that doing an episode of Ancient Aliens is what cued us into the Oak Island mystery when we did an act on the Ark of the Covenant possibly being buried at the bottom of the money pit. And that is what put this whole thing on our radar. And we started looking around at who was looking for treasure these days on Oak Island. And that's what led us to Rick and Marty Lagina. So how far is the possibility that we return? Maybe that's a good idea.
That would be amazing for all the fans of history. Ancient Aliens and Oak Island is like the dream of any alien con in the world. So hopefully that will be happening. Sorry, but that would be amazing to say the least.
Joe, get to working on that.
So we have to talk, Joe, because this is something that we would love to see around the world. We're waiting for a surprise appearance of someone. So give me 1 minute. Mariana, Juan Pablo, let me know when they are ready so we can surprise ourselves. And meanwhile, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that the premiere of Oak Island, El Tesoro de la Isla, it will be on September 5th in Colombia, September 6th in Mexico, and September 7th in Argentina. Now we are ready for the surprise. Go for it. Let's look. Wow! Who are these guys?
Wow.
America, welcome to the West.
Thank you, Latin America.
Well done, guys.
This is a wonderful surprise for you guys because we were not expecting for the first time ever, we're able to see the whole crew of production and camera behind this success. These are the people who make magic in every episode. Please introduce yourselves. Come on, introduce
Billy
yourselves.
here. Hey, I'm Billy, excavator guy.
I'm Jack Begley. Craig Tester.
Laird Niven.
Charles Barkos.
Lindy Martin. Jamie Cuba. Fiona Steele.
Gary Dragon. Scott Barlow.
Moya McDonald.
Paul Troutman. Steve Gupto. Ian Spooner. Dan Kroll.
Welcome to Latin American Brazil. We are thrilled that you are with us, and we are so happy that you were able to surprise Mari and Rick, who are not used to surprises in every episode. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anybody wants anything to add before we say goodbye to our fans in Latin American Brazil? Okay.
We can.
Thank you, Mari.
I just want to say
Please.
thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for giving us an opportunity.
Thank you, Caesar. Thanks, Latin America.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for the fantastic crew. Thank you for all. Muchas gracias a todos nuestros amigos periodistas, cableoperadores y fans que están hoy aquí con nosotros. No se olviden que el gran estreno de la temporada 10 del Tesoro de la Isla, Oak Island, está aquí solo por History. El 5 de septiembre a las 8 de la noche en Colombia. El 6 de septiembre en México. Y el 7 de septiembre en Argentina. Por favor, no se pierdan esta maravillosa serie que, como ustedes se han dado cuenta, viene de la mano de la mejor productora, Prometheus Entertainment, con Joe Lizard y todas las maravillosas expectativas que puedan tener ustedes, y van a ver en cada episodio que el tesoro y la historia se hace todos los días con mucha emoción y compromiso. Muchas gracias. Thank you so much. Muito obrigado por todo el mundo. Gracias. Hasta la próxima. Felicidades.
Bye. Hace 200 años, unos niños encuentran algo interesante en Oak Island, en las costas de Nueva Escocia. Era el final de la era de los piratas, así que todo el mundo piensa que es un tesoro oculto. El presidente Franklin Roosevelt estuvo buscando, John Wayne también participó. Todo el mundo quería llegar al fondo de este llamado pozo sin fondo. Se me ocurre que el común denominador en Oak Island es la obsesión.
Cuando yo tenía 11 años, leí la historia de Oak Island y la llevé a casa y se la leí.
Sí, tenía todas las cosas que le gustan a la gente. Tesoros, túneles secretos,
aventura.
Estoy motivado por el hecho de hacer algo con mi hermano que él siempre soñó hacer.
Esto se trata de la familia, se trata de cariño y yo quiero a mi hermano.
Tenemos millones de dólares invertidos en esto.
Que recuperaremos en algún momento.
Era una cámara secreta de los templarios para sus rituales.
¿Hay conexión con el tesoro?
Creo que sí.
¡Santos cielos! ¡Miren esto! Es una cruz. Es la cruz.
Creo que esa imagen también aparece en la cruz que encontró Gary. El modo en que fue dibujada, hasta con la cabeza a un lado idéntica, los templarios la dibujaron así.
¡Wow! La isla del tesoro, amigo.
Sigue las pistas.
Es la mejor pista que tenemos.
Y encuentra la X.
Es la primera vez que entraremos al pozo sin fondo.
Súmate a la búsqueda de...
¡Vamos por el tesoro!
El tesoro de la isla. Por History Channel.